Hey everyone, my name is Delaina Burns and I'm with you tonight with Flying Unicorn, and I've got a really pretty Prima metal bike frame to alter for you and share on the show tonight. I want to give a few announcements before I get started with our project. Uh, Next week, same time, same place, we've got Jen's going to be with us. She will be doing a magnificent project as always, I'm sure. Um, and I'm just going back and forth to the chat, so just trying to kind of keep up. But don't forget about the Ustream special for the items that I'm using in the class tonight. For the things that are still in stock, there's 10% off. So head over to the Flying Unicorn store under the Ustream specials, and you'll see all the actual pieces and products that are 10% off. At the end of the show, we got a really nice surprise. Alda's going to be giving away one of the actual metal bike frames. So hang around till the end of the show. Cynthia is going to take care of doing that for me. She can kind of explain to y'all how she's going to do it if it's a random draw, or how she's actually doing that. Cynthia, if you don't mind kind of explaining that to them in the chat. And I did hit record. I always have to remind myself to record. But I want to kind of show you. I'm going to have to scroll this down so I can't see the chat for a minute. But I want to show you sort of a straight on view of the actual project tonight. Um, and like I said, it is one of the Prima metal bikes. And I've stained its base and altered the actual metal. It's normally a silver color, and I've altered the metal, and I've added flowers here and some metal pieces, some of the beautiful adornment pieces that Alda has in the store. And on the inside here, you can see some of the Cigar Box Secrets paper in the back, and just a really pretty frame, and then more of the adornment pieces here, and also just a really pretty vine here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and lower the camera and get started on our actual project. So if y'all will bear with me just a minute while I pan the camera down and get it situated. I want to actually turn this so that you can see the project right side up. So if you'll just bear with me just 1 minute while I get this situated. And I may have to turn off a light. I see some glare, so I'm going to turn off one of my lights to get rid of some of that glare. Move my lamps around just a little bit. And you can see just one more time, this is the actual project. And it's kind of hard with the camera pan down to kind of show it to you, so I hope we don't have a problem seeing this tonight. But just to let you know, I went ahead just for time and I added a coat of our actual textured paste onto the bicycle already. And what I've added is this gold crackle textured paste by Prima. It's a brand new Prima product, and it worked really nice on this. That's actually my second layer. My first layer on this bicycle was Prima's new clear gesso. Just took a paintbrush and all over the metal I added the clear gesso, whatever you call it. And then I went back with a paintbrush and added some of the textured paste in the gold color. And you can see, I hope you can see that it has kind of cracked and made just a really nice texture on it. This is not the color that I want. I'm going to go and add some of the bloom sprays as well to darken my color. But I kind of wanted it in the gold family, so I just went ahead with the gold crackle paint. So the first thing that I want to do is actually remove the base. And you can see on the bottom, we've got these screws on the bottom, and I'm seeing that this one's kind of dug in, so I'm hoping it removes pretty easy. Just take a pair of pliers and just really easy, just kind of get it started until you can maneuver it with your fingers, and just continue to unscrew the little bolt there, and it just comes right off. It's really easy to remove. But this just makes it a lot easier for you to be able to color your base and work on your metal bike without blending the colors so much. I don't really want the colors to mix, and I don't want the actual base really shiny. I want to darken it. I just don't want to have it real shiny. I'm going to kind of wipe a lot of the shine off, but you can see I'm losing a lot of my crackle here. Kind of handling this. So I didn't really thicken some layers, so it is kind of flaking off. By the time we've added the bloom sprays, and I'm even going to add a fixative spray at the end, that'll be okay. So what I'm going to do first is our base, and what I want to do is take a paper towel. You can see just a paper towel, and I'm going to take the actual worn leather bloom spray. Just give it a good shake. I want a little of the shiny, but I just want to be able to wipe some of it off. Sorry, I'm kind of banged that in y'all's ear. Just get your mica kind of all shook up, and I'm just actually going to add some of this right to my paper towel. So you can see I'm just going to just turn it up, and what I'm going to do is just wipe it with my paper towel onto the wood. And you can see it's just darkening that up just enough to be a little bit of a contrast. And you just want to wipe it kind of all over, all on the sides, across your top. Okay, now I can't follow the chat anymore. Actually, when I scroll up now to be able to see the screen, I can't see all the chat. So if anybody has any questions, somebody that has my number, just send me a quick text, please. And I'm sorry if I'm kind of getting this up in your face. Okay, so you can see we just got a couple of shades darker by adding that, and that makes me happy. So really quick, I want to go ahead and take out a few baby wipes. I will need them by the end of the show, I'm sure. So go ahead and lay them here. I'm going to put this little base over to the side to dry. Just kind of set it out of my way. Now I want to go back to the bicycle, remove my bolts and my pliers, put my bolts where I can find them because we want to put those back in. So don't forget and lose your bolts. So what I'm going to do is add a box here. I don't want to get this bloom spray all over my gorgeous Prima mat. Alda may have some of these Prima mats left in the store. One of my favorite, absolute all-time favorite items ever is this humongous Prima mat. Black on one side, gorgeous teal color on the other side. It's a favorite. Love it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just put the top back on my color here, and I want to start. I'm going to use the worn leather on the actual bike, but I'm also going to use some antique gold and also some gold foil. So I want to start off with my darker color, or darkest color, and that's going to be the worn leather. So just really quick, let me grab my dryer too, because I'm going to be drying between. What I'm going to do with my color here is just I'm going to grab a paper towel, just kind of have a paper towel handy, and okay, sorry about that. I'm trying to get my dryer situated here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just give it a quick spray. Let's remove its little clip here. Just want to give it a quick spray. I don't want to spray all over. I just want it just in a few spots. You can kind of see we're on the back here. So I'm going to just quickly. You don't want to cover the whole thing. Just kind of quickly. And I am starting on the back, but I will move to the front. Just want to dry this up really quick. I'm not going to worry about drying it completely between coats. I just want to be sure that I get some of the thicker coating in areas where it kind of puddles. I want to actually dry that there so that our puddles kind of become mixed in with the crackle areas there. And as I dry, you're going to see the crackle come through just a little bit more. That's exactly what we want. Just going to dry this up really good on the back. And then we're going to move on to our antique gold. And like I said, we will move to the front in just a minute, but for now, I just want to kind of concentrate on the back. And again, just in a few areas. As we add more, the coats will get a little thicker and a little more. And again, just want to grab the dryer and just kind of, you want those puddles there because when it dries, it just really kind of enhances the color in those areas. So I like the puddling. That's exactly what we want. Kind of move it around, see where we sprayed here. It takes just a minute here. Just want to dab in a few spots here just to get up a little bit of the puddle. Just to remove a little bit of the puddle. Sorry, my southern just comes through. We get it up, we remove it. As you hear me talk more, you'll sort of be able to translate exactly what I mean. Sorry about that. I'm sure Haley knows exactly what I'm talking about. Debbie's talked to me enough, and Robbie's talked to me enough. They know what I'm saying. Okay. Now we're going to move on with a little bit of the gold foil. And again, every time I'm just shaking it up, just so that it's got that mica all mixed in. We get that nice pretty shine. I'm going to go back to the worn leather, and I know I haven't dried the gold yet, but I don't want a lot of that yellow gold showing. I just want a touch of it. I really want this more on the darker side, so I'm going to go back to the worn leather. And you can see as we add the layers, we're getting darker and darker, but by adding the layers, you just get so much depth and dimension, in your colors, and that's exactly what you want. So we'll go back to our drying. And we'll see on these puddles how we're doing. I may, like here, I may soak a little bit of that up to remove just a little bit of it. But it's just a process of just adding layers. I'm going to go ahead while it's drying and add a little more of the worn leather. I really like that worn leather and dark look. Just going to leave the puddles. And while I'm drying, I'm just going to spray a little of the antique gold. And you can see it's going to take just a minute to dry this, but you just get such a pretty effect by adding all these colors together. And I'll just tell you at the end, we're going to add a fixative spray on top of this so that it sort of sets our color in. By adding the gesso and the crackle paste, it should adhere really well. But just in case, we will add a little bit of a fixative spray. And a lot of times hairspray does the same thing. You can use a cheapy hairspray and it'll do the same thing. But if not, you'll need to get you a nice fixative. Okay, and you can see this is not completely dry, but I'm going to go ahead, I think, one more minute here, and then I'm going to turn it over, and we'll work on the front. I just wanted to be sure that we got this back portion pretty dry before we move on. I don't want it to rub off when I turn it over, so I'll give it just one more minute. Okay. Now we'll just, it's going to be hot, so be careful once you've dried it that much. Be careful when you do flip it that you grab a portion of it that's not so hot. Okay, and you can see when we turn it over, we've got to start back with our layering again. And what I want to do is begin with some of the worn leather. I'm not so worried about that inside, um, the inside little portion right here. I'm going to cover that with paper, but I do want to get the inside barrel part because that will show when your or portions of that will show when you get your flowers and everything in there. So I'm kind of getting this all over my hands, but I don't mind the drips. You'll see along the sides there'll be a few drips as you're working and spraying. The drips don't bother me. They just sort of add to the sort of aged and weathered look of the metal. So that is perfectly okay if you do get the drips. Gonna go back in with the dryer. And like I said, you just want to get kind of that inside barrel pretty good as you're spraying, but don't worry about that inside back because that will be covered with paper. And this dries up pretty quickly. When you're using your heat tool, it is a pretty fast process as you're drying. So just kind of take your time, and if you've got a few too many puddles, you can kind of wipe them away, and then you're going to be spraying again. And the more you layer, the darker and the prettier it gets. I may not do this quite as dark as the other. I never like to do them exactly the same. I've said it before. I kind of like sisters and not twins. So that helps sort of keep this moving along too if we don't do it quite as dark. The more layers you add, the darker it will get. So, okay, now I want to go in with a little bit of the gold foil because again, you want that gold kind of there. You don't want it so overpowering. You're going to add the other colors on top of it. I'm going to go back now with the antique gold. And I know I haven't sprayed the gold foil yet, but I just kind of want it to mix with this dark. And you can see this antique gold is pretty dark. Um, it's a shade different than the actual worn leather. It does have a gold kind of undertone, but and you see I've got quite a bit sprayed on there now, so it's getting really dark. I just think it's beautiful. The colors in person are just absolutely gorgeous. And with that crackle paste underneath, it's just got that aged and weathered look like I said before. It's really pretty. So I'm just going to continue to dry. I'm going to have to kind of stand up. Y'all can't tell that, but I'm going to kind of stand up and move around it to be sure that I'm getting all the areas colored on it. And I think it's looking really good. It's a really pretty look. I'm going to soak a little bit of this up here. You know, I kind of like standing. This might be a better way to do the show. I might have to work on doing one just standing up. I kind of like this. Okay. Not exactly dry, but I think that's pretty good. Okay, I think that's pretty good. I'm kind of going to look. This may be enough color for me. It's a little bit darker in person than it's actually showing. Um, I want to get the top. I need to get the seat and the little handlebars and this top portion here of the wheel. Just give it another really good spray. And again, that was the antique gold. I'm going to go into with just a little bit of the worn leather and just add a little bit of the worn leather here. I'm getting this on my computer. Uh-oh. Not good. Covering my keyboards in it. Oh my word. This stuff goes everywhere. Yeah, don't point it in the direction of your computer while you're spraying. Okay, now I want to go in and just dry this really quick. Just want to get our seats and these top rim pieces here with the wheel. It's looking really pretty. Just really, 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 really good depth of color by adding all the layers like this. And then drying it when the puddles dry kind of in these little circles and drips. It adds to the aged look. Okay, really quick, I want to add just to the seat a little bit more of the worn leather. Give that a good spray, or rather give that a good dry. Oh my goodness, it is so pretty in person. It really doesn't even need a flower. I take that back. Everything needs a flower. I can't believe I said that. Everything needs a flower for sure, but this is beautiful right now, even before the flowers. Let's say it that way. Okay, just want to be sure I've got it pretty dry. I think I'm good to go with this color. I think it's dark enough, so I think I'm going to go ahead and attach it back. I think we'll go ahead and attach it back to the base. Clean my hands up just a little bit. I think it's looking pretty good. Okay, it's still a little damp, so I want to kind of handle it carefully. And it's hot. I need to be careful because it is definitely hot. Hot to the touch. Okay, what I'm going to do is put the base back on and just sort of get it down in there. Sorry, I'm getting the stuff off my fingers all that I can. Wiping my computer down just a little bit more. I can't believe I sprayed that at my computer. Oh my Lord. Okay, so we just want to kind of flip this over and we'll add our bolts back on. And I want to go ahead and add them so that while I'm adding my flowers and embellishments, it'll be anchored to something. I don't want it flipping and flopping around. I want to kind of anchor it down. Okay, let's just add these on here really quick. And I'll go back. I'm going to tighten these down a little bit, but I'll go back once it's finished and dried and tighten these up the rest of the way. I just want to kind of get them on and secure them so they don't go falling off on me. We don't need any wiggling and wobbling here. Okay, so there you go. Can you kind of see that dark? Can you see the cracks and the crackles in it? Isn't it gorgeous? Prima has come out with the most awesome new mixed media products. I guess I just have to say they are absolutely fabulous. From the clear gesso all the way to the actual bloom sprays. The new crackle pastes and different things are just absolutely fantastic. So I'm trying to think of what the best way is going to be to actually do this so that you'll be able to see it all the time. I know sitting up like this is going to be hard. So what I'm going to do first is add my piece of paper to that back section there. And you can see this is not dry. It's continuing to come off on my fingers. Let me give it another quick dry. Let's just sort of remedy some of this. Let me just do this really quick. this heat tool gets really, really hot, my mat's probably not going to like it, but I do have another one of these mats. I have to buy everything in pairs just in case something happens to one. I'll have a spare. But if I ruin this one, I may have to get a third. I've been known to buy things in thirds and quadruples for just in case. Okay, I think that's, yeah, we're still pretty wet even inside the little fender here. So let me just give it just a minute of dry time. I also want to dry this inside so that our paper will adhere well. It's a pretty quick process, this embellishment part that's coming up. The coloring was kind of the time-consuming issue for me. So now that we've got the coloring done, I wish y'all could see this in person. This is so, so pretty in person. These colors are just really gorgeous. Okay, so what we're going to do to get that back, this is the packaging. Oh, hot, hot, hot. This is the actual packaging that came in the bike. So I'm going to use it kind of as a template. Just going to kind of fold these in. And I used this Cigar Box Secrets paper. Don't you love this paper? Cigar Box Secrets paper number 846909. And of course, this is a Prima paper. It's going to be easier to mark it on the back. So I'm just going to turn it over. And just really quick, this first pen I grabbed is the pink pen. I see that. But I just kind of want to trace this off just really quick. It's not going to show that much. The edges aren't, so you don't have to be really precise. You just kind of want to circle to fit that back area. And then you just kind of want to, oh my goodness, let me throw that in the floor. Just kind of want to cut this out. I'm just kind of chopping away to get this out. Just no big deal. Just get that circle cut. You could use your circle cutters, or I don't know if you can find a punch that big. I doubt it. But anyway, works best just to use your little bit of packaging as a template. I'll lay that to the side. So you can see we've got that. I want to add a little bit of ink to my edges, just in case that edge shows just a little bit. And you can see I'm just kind of messily doing this. You can get a little bit, because we're doing it from the back side. Doesn't matter if it's messy. And then just do one more quick round just on the front, just to get that edge kind of dark, just in case a little bit of your edge shows, and do it just that quick. I'm going to grab my Fabri-Tac, and I bought a new bottle just for the show because my other bottle is kind of getting low, and when it gets kind of low, it starts getting thick. So I didn't want to deal with that for the show. So I got a brand new bottle. Just kind of want to generously get this on here. And kind of go out close to the edge. You want the edges really glued down. So we'll just flip this over. And we're just going to add it right to the inside. You can see what we did here. So when you turn it over, you see what you see on the inside. If you can see that, there you go. So we got our piece there. So the next thing I want to do is I want to add a frame. And if you noticed on the first one, I used, like I said, I'm going to change this up a little bit. On the first one, I used this Prima medallion style frame. So if you do want to use these, if you do want to, copy it exactly, I did use these Prima medallions, number 961107, but I'm going to change it up. Alda has these gorgeous metal adornments in the store. They are absolutely gorgeous. and I found a beautiful frame. Let's move some of this out of the way. I found a beautiful frame that I want to use. And actually I'm going to layer. I'm going to layer this piece and this piece. And they are already the perfect color. I don't even have to add any color to these. They're already a kind of a golden bronzy color. They're just gorgeous. They're sort of brassy, but they just, if you can kind of tell, they just match this absolutely beautifully. So what I want to do is add these. I'm not going to add a photo tonight. In my original one, I did add a photo of my parents. This particular one, I'm going to hold off on adding a photo, so I can always pull this back out and insert a photo. So for now, what I want to do is just actually adhere these together. And yes, I use my Fabri-Tac to glue the metals together. It works perfectly. Just a little bit of Fabri-Tac. And we can glue these right together. And you can see I wanted this one because I wanted them glued together because I like the extra detail kind of around the edges. Move your Fabri-Tac around a little bit. Give it a minute to kind of set. I may not have added enough. Let's add just a little bit more. And this is going to dry clear, so it's perfectly okay if it oozes a little bit and you can see it. You can see we want to add it right about there. Just about there. Okay, so there we have that. Okay, the next thing I want to do is actually adhere this to the inside of this actual frame. And the way I did that was I just took a piece of chipboard, just a kind of a thin piece of chipboard. I believe this came in some packaging or pack of paper or something. I've cut it to bits, but that's what I'm using. It's just a piece of the chipboard. Grab my Tim Holtz scissors. So what I'm going to do is just cut kind of about an inch and a half piece here, and it's going to be about probably 3 inches long, sort of about, and I may have to trim that too. And then what you want to do is just give it a bend right in the middle, just like that. Just kind of give it a bend. And what you're going to do is you're actually going to adhere this right onto the back, just right onto the back of your frame. You can see that. We're just going to glue this right down to the back of your frame. And what's going to happen once you're done, since we're not adding a photo, you can actually pull these apart, this one on the front, add your photo behind, and then glue it back down. You will be able to get it apart. It'll take a little work, but you will be able to get it apart. Or you just add your photo as you're making it. But I will take it apart later and actually add a photo. So what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of glue to the back of my cardboard. Not a lot, I just wanted to kind of smear it on there. And then just right to the back, just let it adhere. If it shows a little bit on the sides, that's perfectly okay. You're going to have flowers and lots of different pieces in there, so don't worry about it showing. Just give it just a minute to kind of dry. I know this feels kind of awkward, kind of on camera letting this dry, but it only takes a minute. I want to go ahead and cut off some of this bottom level here, bottom layer here. We don't need quite that much. You need just a little bit of a bend, because what we're going to do, it's taking this just a minute to dry, what we're actually going to do is we're going to just sit this in here, and you're going to put glue on the bottom of this cardboard here, or this chipboard, And sorry, we're still wet. I'm still having to kind of manipulate it. So you want to move your chipboard all the way to the bottom of your frame. It's going to be like a little kickstand for it. It's just, you can see it's kind of standing up on its own. It's just going to kind of stand up inside the frame. So we want to add a little glue just to the bottom. And we don't want a lot here on this area because you don't want it to be sticking outside the frame. So we're going to just place it in. You want about a 1/2 inch of space between the frame. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm out of range here. You want about a 1/2 inch of space between the front of your frame and your small frame. You can kind of see how that's going in. This is kind of awkward, isn't it, to show this? So kind of get that in there. I want to hold it just a minute to make sure it's drying. And that's all of our pieces. And what's going to happen is as we add flowers, you're going to get a lot more stable. It's going to be a little wobbly when you first get it in, and that's with this frame or with the actual Prima frame, either one. It's going to be a little wobbly, but as you add flowers and as your glue dries really well, the wobble will stop, and I'm not going to be able to turn it up. This one's kind of awkward to show y'all how I've done it. Sorry about that. Let it dry for just a minute and then it should be good. So what I'm going to do while this is drying for just a minute, I want to go ahead and show you a few of the flowers that we're going to use. Let's go ahead and move these bloom sprays out of the way. And I've got quite a few different flowers that I'm going to use. We're going to use this gorgeous vine. It's a brand new Prima vine. We want to use it. Just kind of pull it out. We're going to use that one. We're going to use one of these. This is number 577285. The Prima Vine was number 578275. Oh, so I want to use the darker one of these. These are in two different shades. I don't know if you can tell, but I want to use the darker colored one there. And I want to use, we're going to use one of these. We're going to use one of the red ones, and these are actually from the Cigar Box Secret Collection, number 578633. Just want to grab a couple of the red ones. Also, I want to add just one of these really pretty burlaps. These are from the Cigar Box Collection. So let's just grab one of these. I'm going to do it kind of neutral on the outside. So let's grab this one here with the kind of the polka dot. Let's cut off these little tags here. How's our time looking? We doing good on time? Yeah, we should be fine. Okay, so we want to add these. And what else can we add? Let's add a few of these. Number 578220. These are really pretty, again, kind of with the burlap texture. Kind of, I guess, sticking with that texture. This one's a little bit darker. Let's kind of use the medium. One of the medium and one of the dark. Let's kind of use them both. These things, be careful. That one's just kind of shredded. Okay, we'll use two of those. And what else? Use what you have. Just kind of go through your stash and use the flowers that you have on hand. A few of these were actually in the kit, the October kit this month. 578206. Let's use one of those. Let's grab this lighter colored one here. So y'all can kind of see the scheme I'm kind of going with, kind of earthy with a little bit of red mixed in. Okay, and then here I have lots of different adornment pieces. These are a little different from the ones that I originally added to my original piece, but some of them I didn't have duplicates, and I just wanted to be able to add some different ones, and I have actually got these stuck together, so and I do want to use those. So let's just lay those pieces there, and our frame is drying well. It's doing well drying. So what I want to do is start off, I just kind of want to latch the back. Just kind of go ahead and latch your back, close your back down. Just kind of keep your frame in there. And I'm going to have to add the flowers, and then I can turn it upside down because the frame's wanting to flop backwards. So let me go ahead and add a few flowers behind. First one I want to add is this burlap flower here. You know, actually, let me grab, I'm going to use 2 of those burlap flowers. Let me grab one of these from the Cigar Box Secrets collection. This one with the little houndstooth fabric, or houndstooth paper, I should say. I just want to give it a little haircut. And some glue behind. Pretty substantial amount of glue. You're going to kind of move it around. And you can see what I'm going to do is I'm going to add it right to the back here. I'm going to kind of hold my frame up out of the way. And just add it right behind the frame. You can see you see where I'm putting it kind of right in behind the frame. In that area right there, kind of up to the left of the frame so that you can see it. You're going to have to hold it in place for just a minute. It's going to slide down. It's heavy, so it's going to slide down with the glue, but it'll take just a minute kind of moving it around to get it to dry. Okay. What I'm also going to do on this metal, if it still feels a little sticky once you've finished, you can always add some of the clear gesso back over the top of it to sort of set it. Like I said, you can add fixative or even some of the clear crackle paste. The crackle paste also comes in clear. You can add another layer of the clear crackle paste to the back of it as well. I've got this all over me. Sorry, I'm cleaning my hands up again. So now I'm going to add this flower here. Can you see? It's got a really pretty center. Pretty good bit of glue. And we're going to add this to the right side. Just kind of poke it in. And we're going to add it a little bit lower in and behind the frame. Our frame's just kind of flopping around in there. Want to add it kind of down to the right. I kind of want paper up here in the top right hand corner. I want those red flowers to show. So just put this one in and down kind of low. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is just actually, I'm still working with this. Sorry, I'm still working with my frame, trying to get my frame to stay adhered. I've shifted it so much, I'm moving it around. Okay, the next thing I want to add is this, this burlap flower here. And I'm going to add it kind of in behind the frame as well, but kind of toward the bottom on the left. And again, sort of getting these in there so that our frame is sort of sandwiched in, so it's not going to flip and flop so much. I just couldn't think of a better way to get this in there to stay. The cardboard, I used an acrylic piece with it one time as well. Now I'm going to use one of these little red flowers. And you can see I've got the spray all over me. Just add your red flower right there next to the frame. We kind of want that to show. And again, you're just kind of sandwiching that in there. You kind of see. We're just kind of filling in all around. Next, I want to use this flower right here, this really pretty burlap with the really pretty front center. I'm going to add this kind of in front of the frame, kind of down low. And you can see we're just sandwiching our frame right in. Just get that in kind of low. See how? What I'm going to do is tuck that in low enough that we don't hide our picture, but so that we just have a little bit of the flower showing across the bottom of our photo. You'll still be able to see our photo in there. Okay, and I'm still fidgeting with this frame. Okay, next we're going to add another one of these red flowers. And again, these are with the Cigar Box Secrets collection. We want to add it just kind of down in the right hand corner here, sort of in front of the frame, but a little tucked in behind as well. So you can kind of see, and then you can kind of play around with your flowers, and just, you want to make it look really full and nice on the inside there. Okay, so that's about what we're going to do to the inside. We're going to add some of our adornment pieces here in just a minute, but I want to go ahead and add our vine and our pieces to the outside of the bicycle. So to do that, I'm going to kind of lay it flat so y'all can see what I'm doing. First thing I want to do is clean my hands one more time. Okay, we got to move pretty quickly. We're getting close to time. So what I want to do is I want to take the vine and I'm going to add a little bit of ink just to the edges of the leaves, just kind of right on the edges. I just want to touch them to give them a little bit of a distressed look. Not a lot. They're already scripted and just a really pretty color. I just want to add a little bit of a darker accent just to the edges. I'm just going to barely touch. If you miss one, it's totally okay. Once it's on, you can always go back and sort of shift it or whatever. And I want to kind of shape this and bend this, because what I want it to do is sit like at the base here, and I want the top of the actual vine sort of, under the actual handlebar fender area there. So what I'm going to do is just add a little glue to the little swirly area there, and I'm just going to stick it right down to the bike, to the actual wheel of the bike. And you just kind of want to manipulate these leaves and these little spirals. I'm kind of doing this in the shape of the actual bicycle itself, and just kind of run your little spiral through the fender area there. And we're going to add flowers here as well, so the glue here is going to be covered up. So go ahead and get just a pretty liberal amount of glue there, so that'll stick. And as we add flowers and work on it, and again, I'm gonna stand up because I think it's easier to work on this standing up. Taking one of these burlap flowers here, and I'm just going to push it right against the wheel there. Just give it a little push, and as I'm holding it for the glue to dry, I'm going to shape this a little bit. And there's no right or wrong way to do this. Just get it shaped kind of like, how you like it, kind of the way you want to go with it. Got some of these flowers here too that I didn't actually pull out, but I want to add one of these flowers. And like I said, any sort of natural color flower that you own, you can kind of stick with the sizes that I've used, but you just kind of add those in there, just kind of add those together there and hold them just a minute. And you do want some of your bike rim to show, so don't cover up all of your wheel. You do want quite a bit of it to show. That's sort of the beauty of the actual metal because you can see so much of it. I'm trying to see how I can do this so y'all can kind of see more of what I'm doing, what I'm thinking. I think laying it down is probably the best thing. So what I want to do is, let's move our ink. I'm going to sit something under this so that it's elevated just a little bit. Let's do a couple of things here. I want this elevated up so I can kind of work on it a little easier. Okay, I think that's better. I've got this really pretty little metal adornment, and this is just a really pretty little flower. I want to add it just about here. I just think that's really pretty, just right there next to the burlap flowers. It just looks really pretty. Next thing I have is this really pretty little, kind of like a little ball and chain, and you just kind of need to tuck that in. You don't really even need any glue, just kind of tuck that in right there. You can kind of adhere that down if you want. I want to add these leaf pieces. Now I did use some Prima pins before on the other one, but I found these and I just thought they were so pretty since they kind of go with this viney theme. I just wanted to kind of use these in here, and I do have two, but I think I'm just going to use the one. Also, I found this, and I think it's really pretty. It's kind of a little flower vine, and I just want to kind of, I think, lay this across here. And before, like I said, I did do some different things. I used a music note right here, but I think I just want to add this little vine just right there. I just love the metal, love all the gold and the metal pieces here. And I'm just kind of trying to decide. I did add some keys, so I do want to add a few keys. And you're just going to add some of the Fabri-Tac and just sort of tuck these in, just so they're still kind of visible, almost like they're kind of falling out. And it's kind of hard since this is laying down, but I just kind of want to add these pieces, the metal on the metal. And these adornment pieces are the perfect color. They don't have to be altered at all. They're absolutely perfect. I'm knocking things in the floor. Just want to add one more little key. These keys are just so pretty. Now that I've used these, I'm going to have to go back Alda and order more. I've got to have more of these. Okay, so can you kind of get the gist? Let me sit this up so I can kind of get that glued in there. And once I pan the actual camera back up, I can show you. I'm going to manipulate these flowers just a little bit with my tweezers. But you can see, and you can kind of see where you're missing a few things, and you can add kind of where you need to. So I think I want to go in with another one of these flowers here, kind of in and behind my frame here, just so a little bit of that burlap is kind of, because you can kind of see it in and behind that frame. Okay, I think I'm ready to kind of pan back up and give y'all a good look at this. That is pretty much how we're going to leave it. So, of course, I've got to kind of fidget with it for just a minute. So, let me turn you back around real quick. We are about 4 minutes till 9 my time. Turn you back around. Let me do a little bit more cleanup on my fingers. So you can see we don't have our photo in there, but you can just imagine your own photo in there, and it can be an antique photo like I used, or you can just use probably a black and white photo would be the best for in there to keep it kind of natural. You do have a little bit of that red showing, but not a lot. I just wanted a touch of red so you can kind of see. Here's the first one. And they're not a lot different, but just a smidge here or there. There's a little bit of difference in the two. So you can kind of see. And what I'm going to do is go back and probably add another layer of clear crackle on the top of what's showing. I want a little bit more crackle, so you can always do that. Layers of that, just, I mean, the more it is, the prettier it is. So just do what you want to do. And if you do have a little sticky feeling, spray it with a fixative. And anyway, that's our project for tonight. Don't forget next week to join Jennifer. She will be creating a gorgeous project, I'm sure. Same place, Flying Unicorn on Ustream, and at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. And Cynthia, have you picked a winner? I'm going to scroll this. Let me grab my mouse. I want to scroll this so I can see the chat, because when I'm looking at the camera, I can't see the chat. Um, okay, now my chat's messed up. Okay, do we have a winner? Somebody tell me, because I can't go back and read all this. Yes, the show is recorded, so you can go back and watch. You can go back and watch the show. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and sign off as far as the recording goes, and I'm going to stay with the chat just for a minute so that we can figure out who our winner is. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see y'all again soon. And don't forget to check out Jennifer next week. Y'all have a great night. Thank you for joining me.